Sunnah followers, protectors of the Sunnah, Sunnah followers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salamullah, wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of Sunnah Followers Hadith class. And this is the class wherein we discuss hadiths that relate and pertain to women in Islam. Let's put the hadith up on the screen for tonight's discussion. And the source of this hadith is Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim, and it's narrated by Abu Huraira. He says that one day a man expressed his intentions to give in charity for the sake of Allah. So he came outside and brought something to give in charity, and he gave it to a woman who was a known adulteress. In the morning, the people began to talk about him. They said, look at what this man did. He gave charity to an adulteress. So when the man heard what the people were saying, he said, "Oh Allah, to you be the praise of an adulteress." He then again gave intentions to give in charity for the sake of Allah. So he went out and he put some money in the hand of a man who was very rich. And in the morning, the people talked about that too, saying, wow, look what he did. First, he gave charity to a prostitute. Now he then gave it to a man that didn't need it. When the man heard what the people were saying, he said, oh Allah, I gave charity to someone who was rich. I didn't know that the person was rich, just like I didn't know that the other person was a prostitute. So he then went out the next day and he gave in charity, but this time he put the money in the hand of a man who was a thief. And the next day, the people were talking about that too, about how first he gave some money to a woman that was a prostitute and a person that didn't need it because they were rich, and then he gave it to a thief. So again, the man made dua saying, oh Allah, to you be the praise. I gave in charity to a person that was a prostitute. I gave to a person that was rich. I gave to a person that was a thief, when here I was trying to give to help for your sake. So then Allah listened to the supplication of the man, and Allah sent an angel to him. The angel took on the form of a human being and came to him and said, guess what? Your charity has been accepted by Allah. Because of the charity that you gave to the adulteress, that it may become a means with which she can control herself and stop fornicating to earn her living. In regards to the charity that you gave to the rich man, perhaps he will learn from it and will take from the money that Allah has blessed him and do as you have done and help others. He said, and in regards to the thief, perhaps the fact that you gave charity to this thief, it will cause him to refrain from stealing. So here, this is a hadith that teaches us, guys, the intentions, as Dr. Saeed talked about in his class today, the intentions to do as good as everything. We shouldn't be concerned with what the people say, because the people will never be satisfied with what we do. The people will never have anything nice to say about what you do. But if we're doing things for the sake of Allah, that's all that we should be concerned about. Because even if the person was undeserving of that act, the act that you give may serve as as an inspiration for that person to change the condition of themselves to something better. Or, so never worry about what others think of what you do. We should only concern ourselves with what Allah thinks. If your intentions are to do good, you will get rewarded for that. Just like if your intentions are to be evil, you'll get rewarded for that. Okay, so now that I've explained this hadith, how does it impact your life, or what can you learn from this hadith that will end up bettering you in your personal life? Anyone, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
This is just like the one earlier that Dr. Sahi was talking about the intentions, and to just really worry about Allah. Allah is the only person that I am here to please. And as long as my intentions is to please him, I don't care what nobody else say. And that's what I need to keep my mind on. That's what Brother Sahih said. That's what this hadith just said. It's Allah in my heart, what's in my heart.
Mm-hmm. And that's, like I said, these two hadiths that we had today, this one and the earlier one, Allah is trying to tell us something, because it ain't no coincidence that both of these hadiths is something that is hitting all of us here who are regular students here at Sunnah followers. Because, we get caught up, sometimes you can get caught up in, the negativity of the people, and the negativity is out there. I mean, like I say, no matter what you do, they got something bad to say. So we have to remind ourselves, like you said earlier, we have to constantly remind ourselves, look, why am I doing this? It's about Allah. Forget them, forget that, forget that, forget that. It's all about Allah. Because, you can impact people in ways that you're not even aware of. And like something that I try to tell people, dawah is not from your tongue. Dawah is from your actions, not from what you say. It's what you do that can either guide someone here to the truth, or can guide someone to evil. Yeah, anyone else would like to share? Sabrina, did you have something to say? Okay, well, like I said, this hadith, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
What I learned from this hadith is, intention lies a big part in our lives as Muslims. Sometimes we people have an intention to do something good, but we don't get around to do it. We get busy, but we don't like carry it out, with our actions or whatever. But we're intended to do something good, but we don't carry it out. But what we don't realize is Allah gives us a reward for the thought of even like doing something good, but by not being able to carry it out. And whatever is like, and, in our hearts, it will show in our actions. And instead of, worrying about what the people think, just like that man, his intention lied into doing something good. And, instead of worrying about the people, like you can never please people because they'll always ask more from you. You give a person $100, they'll still be like, you think you did something for me? You only been giving me 100. That's nothing. I want 300. So you'll never be able to please the people. But with Allah, the little things, Allah rewards the little things. And I don't think we take, when we start something, an action of good, we always try to do something big first. Instead of doing something big, we need to start small, because that small can turn into something, big. Like instead of giving $100 that you can't afford, maybe start something small. Some people, to others, they think, I know some people, I think at the mosque, they put 25 cents inside the zakat box. Some people like, that he just gave 25 cents. Can you believe that? Maybe that's the only 25 cents he had. You don't know what his intention is. So this is very important. I like this hadith.
Exactly. Yeah. Subhanallah. It's something that we can definitely benefit from. And like you say, some people, they learn from us. You could be a bad person, a criminal. But the simple fact that you took the time to help that person can cause that person to rethink his choices and change for the better. Just like that angel said, that prostitute, that little bit of charity you gave her, now she don't have to go out and prostitute for a living. You done saved her, given her the tools she needed to save her soul from the hellfire. That thief, that charity you gave to that thief, now he ain't got to go out and steal. Now he can turn his bad deeds into something good, by repenting. That rich man, he's a coward, he's a miser. Now you've made him feel bad enough that now that he'll do what you do. So again, never look down. There's another hadith where the prophet said, never belittle the charity of another person. and never, run your mouth and look down on the deeds of another person, because one man's blue can be another man's a stripe. So we have to be very careful of this. So let's look at this hadith again and again. The source of this hadith is Sahih Muslim. This was a man, who wanted to impress Allah. He wanted to make himself good with Allah. So he decided to get up one morning and give in charity. So he just went out the door and gave money to the first person he saw, and it happened to be an adulteress. He didn't know what she was. His intentions were to do something good for the sake of Allah. But the people talked about it. And then the next day he went out and tried to do it again. And he didn't know the person he gave it to was rich, but the people belittled him for that. Then the third day he did it again, and it was a thief. And so finally Allah sent an angel to not discourage this man, to tell this man, don't be discouraged. Don't listen to what the people said. Your charity has been accepted by Allah. Your charity caused that prostitute, to restrain herself. That your charity caused that rich man to learn a lesson and spend from what Allah has given him. Your charity has caused that thief to repent from stealing from others. So never allow the people to impact you. And know that Allah sees everything we do. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Hadith class. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.